I am well known for being the guy who carries way too much stuff on my mountain bike rides. I've dialed it down a little bit. I don't carry as much stuff as I used to, but I want to be prepared. I want to be ready. If something happens, you don't want to be caught off guard. So today I'm going to show you guys everything I carry on a mountain bike ride. First things first, the bag that I carry to carry all the stuff that I carry on a ride. Do I wear the bag or do I carry the bag? It's like a chicken and the egg thing. So I think I wear the bag. So I put all my critiques, my pros and my cons on a previous video I did called Everything I Wear on a Mountain Bike Ride. So if you want more info on this bag, you're gonna have to get it on that video. But I did get a pretty cool piece of feedback on that video about the straps. These straps on this bag just flip and flop around and I didn't want to cut them. There's this thing called a web dominator. Apparently, I'd never heard of it. And I got some from Amazon and they actually wrap around the webbing to keep it in place. And that is the entire magic of this channel. You guys getting in the comments, telling me about great trails, telling me about great gear, me experiencing it, and then sharing it with many, many more people. It's the best feedback loop ever. And the first thing out of the bag, of course, is something that not many people carry with them, but it's light, it's easy to pack away. It's an extra derailleur cable. I've been in the situation where I blew up my derailleur cable and I didn't have one and I had to make my way out, and it's very tough. You can do it in certain spots, but if you have to climb a hill, it's tough. Most dropper post remotes work off a derailleur cable as well, so if you get into a tight situation, it's awesome to have one of these things. But the big problem is you might set yourself up, get a fresh new cable in there, and then you've got like this much cable hanging off the back of your bike flopping around if you don't have something to cut it with. But I carry something to cut it with. Inside of my trusty Osprey Raptor 14 tool roll, that was the old bag I used to ride with for many years, and this tool roll has stood the test of time. I really, really like it. It holds a bunch of stuff. But inside this thing, I've got my little Leatherman squirt. This little thing is very versatile. It's got the pliers, it's got cutters, it's got a knife, it's got scissors, it's got all kinds of things that will help you get out of a jam, and it's so small. It is the perfect little tool to get you out of a big time jam, because there's been plenty of times where you're trying to tighten some kind of metal on metal thing, and pliers are the best way to do that, where your own bare hands, your fingers are just getting torn up, when the old pliers would have done it much, much better. My next thing inside the tool roll is actually something that's going to come out of the tool roll and not going back in. The Dynaplug Racer. I heard good reviews of this thing. I was lured in by how cool it looked, but every time I've had to use it on the side of the trail with a hole in the tire, it has failed me. I tried the small plugs, you got to put 3 or 4 of them in there. I tried the big plug, it just never worked correctly, and that sucks because I had used previous tire plug systems before. The slime bacon strip kit, that worked really good for me, but these brass tip barb things, it just whatever it is, I can get it. Let's keep going through the tool roll here. I'll talk about the new tire plugs I'm using in a second. I've got this little tin here that I keep extra quick links in, and I also keep 1 extra screw for my Shimano SPD cleats that are on the bottom of my shoes. When you're out hike-a-biking on big rocky days, there's always a chance that some kind of screw could come loose and fall out, and if you lose one of your cleat screws, you're screwed. I guess if it's that big a deal, I should probably keep more than 1 screw in there. Oh yeah, the Moose Trex tire levers. These things are so simple and so good. They might be my favorite thing that I carry. They're heavy duty plastic. They will get your tire off of the bead in the shop or out on the trail. And they also have this really cool feature where they click together and you can use them to break a quick link. It's so cool. It's like magic. There are a couple similar products that promise to do something like this, like the Wolf Tooth pack pliers, which, oh my God, when these first came out, it was like, they look so cool. Oh, anodized aluminum. Oh man, they're so amazing. They carry a couple quick links, they can break a quick link, and they have a tire lever. But it's just not that good. This tire lever like marred up my wheel the first time I used it. And I'm like, nope, we're going full on plastic tire levers and I'm never using this thing again. One Up Components also has their little quick link breaker thing, and I think that's the only function this thing has. So why carry this whole thing when I've got this on the end of my tire levers? And of course, there's always a few zip ties floating around in my bag for random things that you don't even know you would ever use them for. Broken lever hanging off, you can zip tie it to the handlebar. Broken spokes flopping around, you can zip tie it to another spoke. Very versatile. The only limit is in your imagination. This is not a joke. I carry a shit kit with me because who knows when it's gonna happen. It's never happened to me. I have been very, very lucky where I've never had to let loose on the side of a trail. I've never had any trail side poop emergencies, but who knows? My day will probably come and it won't be as traumatic if I've got this with me. I also carry the original Tickkey. So this helps pop a tick off if you get one on you. I've gotten 2 on me previously that I didn't notice. One in Africa and then one here last year with my buddy Aaron from MTBing Adventures out on Fisk Peak. Didn't notice it till later on, and it hadn't been 24 hours, but it was enough time for it to be burrowed in, and I wish I had this because of course I did the stupid thing and just picked at it, which no one recommends. It's the worst thing ever. Get yourself a Tickkey. And now for something I really, really wanted to love, but the cool factor cannot outweigh the problems I have with the One-Up Components EDC Pump that comes with the EDC Multitool. Yeah. The pump itself is pretty dang good. I've used it a few times on the side of the trail to air up tires or even just before a ride, and I like it. Of course, it's always kind of crappy when you have this pump that has to mate right up to the valve stem and then you're furiously pumping it, so you always feel like you're gonna break the valve stem off. But this thing puts a lot of air out. It's nice, it's a solid build. Thumbs up for the pump. Really cool feature that this head actually comes with a CO2 inflator inside of it. It's on there really, really tight, so you have to use like a 10 mil Allen key to pop it off for the first time. And the first time I popped it off, I actually marred it totally because it was on so tight, but now it's on there hand tight if I ever have to use it. So hidden inside of your pump is a couple different tools that in theory seem really cool, but in practice just are a pain in my ass. So let's say I want to adjust something on my bike. I got to pull over, I got to pull this thing out of my bag, I got to pull this out, and then I've got to pop this open, and I've got these 3 pieces now. I just want to use this multi-tool to adjust something on my bike, but now I have to put this somewhere and I have to put this somewhere, and I'm just on my bike right now. I got to lay down, I got to put this stuff kind of on the side of the trail, and it just becomes something you could so easily forget. It's something that is just always in the way. It's black, so it blends in with stuff. It's a problem. I don't think it really matters where you have any of this mounted or where you keep it. Like you could mount this to your frame so you could pull it out really easily. You could mount this inside your steer tube. One-Up sells a little tool to make it actually go into your steer tube, which is super cool in theory. But then you've got all these things. You got this stuff. You got to set it down. You got to put it somewhere. It's a pain in the butt. After the 3rd or 4th time of having to pull all the stuff out and lay it down and try not to lose it, I just started keeping the multi-tool in my side pocket in my bag. And I was like, okay, enough with the cool system. Let's just keep the multi-tool in my pocket. So then it becomes, why do I want this multi-tool? This thing's kind of undergunned. The One-Up system is kind of for the minimalist. It's for the person that just wants to survive and get home. It doesn't have a whole lot of stuff. It definitely has the essentials, but for some reason, I found myself several times needing like a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, or a bigger or smaller hex than this would provide. And then there was the chain tool. This is such a bare minimum survival, and I get it. That's the whole point of this system, is that it's super small, super slim. You don't like see it, you don't carry around a bunch of stuff. But man, when you actually have to use this chain tool to get yourself out of a jam, it sucks. I was down riding Phil's World in Cortez, Colorado a couple weeks ago. There were some guys off to the side of the trail. Their chain had busted, they needed help, and I started trying to use this thing to help them out, and I totally gave up. Luckily, the guy that I was riding with had a real multi-tool with a real chain breaker tool on it, and it worked so nice, and we were done, and we helped those guys so nicely. So, not a fan. It also has a little tire lever tool on there. Not as beefy as the ones I use, but it seems like it would work pretty good. Never used it. Even though I'm pretty disappointed in this whole system and I really don't think I'll be using it much longer, I recently upgraded it with the tire plug kit. It's a very novel design. At the bottom of the tool insert, you just unscrew it. You've got your poker thingy, and then you've got your extra bacon strips on there. You tear one of those strips off, you put it on the poker, and you dive it into the tire where the hole is, you pull it out, and hopefully your tire will be plugged. I haven't had to use these yet, so I may be hating this just as much as I hate the Dynaplug. The tire plug kit doesn't come with the EDC tool. It's an extra add-on for 35 bucks, which gets you a few bacon strips, the poker thingy, and then this quick link tool thing that I talked about that I don't use. I'm going through my bag right now and I realize I don't have my spare derailleur hanger in there. This is what protects your bike. When you smash your derailleur on a rock, this thing is supposed to break instead of your frame. So keep an extra one with you on your person at all times when you're riding. So I haven't yet given up on the 1UP EDC tool system completely yet, but when I do, I think I'm gonna switch to this Ratchet Rocket by Topeak. It's like a ratchet system with all the little bits, and give that a try as like my main multi-tool and see if it actually does well, or if it's too cumbersome, or if I lose the pieces and drop them on the ground. I like the idea of kind of the ratcheting thing. Completely random thing that I always carry is a Ziploc bag. If it starts raining, if it gets really wet, you can put your wallet, your keys, your phone in there and at least protect it a little bit. If there's something that needs protecting, a little funky Ziploc that will just hide in the bottom of your bag will do it for you. And I always carry a couple little extra microfiber cloths to wipe off my glasses or my goggles or my camera lens. I also, of course, carry some trail snacks with me. My current choice is Nature Valley Oats and Honey because you can get them anywhere. They're super cheap, but I do get like heartburn and acid reflux after I eat them, so it's time to find something else. I'm an old man now. Of course, I always keep a 29er tube in my bag, and then I keep 2 more 29er tubes in my car. For some reason, when you get on a roll with getting flats, they just start coming and coming. So you use one, and then all of a sudden, oh no, I blew up my tube. You need to make sure you always have one in the bag. I don't carry any Band-Aids or bandages or antiseptic wipes or alcohol or Tylenol or Oxycontin with me on the trail, but I do carry one thing. If it turns into a life or death situation, I've got my combat action tourniquet. A life or death situation is when your buddy has cut an artery and blood is spurting and spewing and launching itself 5 or 6 feet in the air. That's when you need to tie it down and tie it off, and something like this could save their life. It's about the same size as a tube, and I hope to God I never have to use it. I'm not much of a survivalist guy. I probably don't even really know how to tie a real knot, but I've got one of these paracord keychains. You can basically unravel them and they become one big long piece of paracord, which is a very strong little mini rope. I don't know what you'd use it for, but I just figured it'd be kind of a simple little thing to carry with me at all times. Okay, so somehow we're on to the last item. I feel like I used to carry a lot more stuff. This is good, we're getting somewhere. This is the Garmin InReach Mini. This is a worldwide satellite communication system. When you get into some trouble anywhere in the world, you can press and hold the SOS and Garmin will send people to go get you. I bring this thing everywhere I go now because I used to have the Garmin InReach Explorer and that thing was way too big. It also had buttons on the front that would accidentally get pressed and turn on the unit, which would drain the battery, and then if I ever got into a real situation, the battery would be dead. This thing doesn't do this. It's so much better than the previous version. I haven't charged this thing up in so long. Let's turn it on right now and see what the battery's at. So according to this, the battery is at 66%, which is pretty damn good for just leaving it in my bag for a month while I was in Spain. So I need to recharge this just to be safe, but I feel very safe having this thing around, being able to call for help anywhere in the world. So I use the very basic plan. There are plans where you can text your location and talk with people. I just use the bare bones plan for the SOS. It's 12 bucks a month. And then I add on the $200 a year insurance plan, which is the Cadillac, the top notch, the we will spend $1 million getting you out and getting you safe. That's the plan I want and the plan I need if some real stuff goes down. All right, it's your turn now. Let me know in the comments the stuff you love, the stuff you hate, the stuff that you want other people to know about, to enjoy, so we can all go out and have the perfect mountain bike ride. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you on the trail.